friends, Nick here. Um, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Georgia. I'm in zone 8A, and I just wanted to take some time to go on a garden tour. So a lot has happened. This last week has been, like, weather-wise, a really nice week. We had some cold weather the previous week where it was like below freezing a couple of days, and so some of the plants got damaged. Some of my seedlings died, so I had to restart those, but I am going to show you what we have, because I planted some seeds like right after that frost and they've already started to germinate. And I have made some updates to the garden structure itself. I put up some arch trellises. I think I did a video before, but this video is going to be a little bit longer and more in depth. So, and I think I'm going to plant some stuff today, like direct seed some things outside, like some beans. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. We don't have any cold weather in the forecast for at least the next 10 days. Every now and then here in Georgia we do get a little bit of a late frost. I don't know, I just feel like we're past that by now, but I might just wait like another week or two just to be safe. But I really do want to plant like some of my seedlings that are, cucumbers and stuff. I want to plant them out. They're not even that big. I'm just being impatient. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this tour started. So the yard is a little dirty. I do need to do some yard work and clean some stuff up, but we'll start off with this raised bed. So a couple weeks ago I did plant a blueberry plant. It was a Patriot blueberry plant, but I don't know if the frost took it out, but there's really nothing going on here. And it was planted the same day as this one, this Northland blueberry. It was planted the same day, and this one, it's green, it has foliage, so I think this one might be a goner. And if it is, it's okay. I have another blueberry plant that I can put in here to make sure that they are able to pollinate each other. Rosemary, and there's a pineapple sage. It was there this will be the third year, and it came back last year on its own. This year it does not look like it's coming back, but I'm gonna leave that in there for maybe a couple more weeks, just to see if we end up getting some green growth. As a side note, normally every year, catnip, I planted it here a few years back, and it just reseeds itself every year and does sometimes come back in this, well, it has for at least 2 or 3 years, has come back in this bed. But we have some catnip here that reseeded itself outside of the bed. I'm gonna leave it there. I have indoor cats, I have a stray cat that comes, so I will be harvesting from this, and I'll be using it for my own teas and everything. But I'm gonna let it grow because it's looking really good. So there's some catnip. Now as we move over to this bed has quite a bit in it. On the outer edges I do have garlic planted, all around, as you can see. And then I do have some chives. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 little bunches of chives. And then this in the middle, hold on, there's some grass. This has been bugging me since this morning. That is butter crunch lettuce. So I thought that was going to not make it actually through the frost. It struggled, but as you can see, it is growing beautifully. There's so many of these grasses. This is another thing that happens here in this bed, is when we get a lot of rain and good weather, within a few days those little pieces of grass come through. But anyway, so my butter crunch lettuce, it's looking amazing. What else is over here? So there's the continuation of the garlic around the bed. This red romaine, look at that. I've never grown red romaine or any kind of romaine lettuce before, but look at how beautiful that is. It just, wow. Oh wow, I can't, it's just beautiful. This plant in the middle is a lemongrass that I had bought last year as a start. I thought it would come back this year. It looks pretty dead. I'm gonna also leave that maybe for the next few weeks, see if any life comes, but if not, I'll go ahead and take it down. And then finishing up this bed, these are sweet peas. So these are not the peas that you eat, they're more for cut flowers and fragrance. So they are actually really growing very well. I just need to start, now that they're getting longer, I can start training them and weaving them in and out of the trellis so that their tendrils grasp on and they start growing up it themselves. But see, I have to, probably in another week or so, I'll be able to take these and trellis them up and we'll see how far it goes up. So here's what's in my greenhouse. I had to take the stuff off the top rack because this thing was leaning really bad yesterday and I was scared that it was going to tumble over. So to alleviate some of the weight that I had, I went ahead and took the top rack off and put them over there. So actually whatever's in there is just going to stay right there, and they're going to get hardened off from the greenhouse. But these are some of the starts that I had initially planted some of these plants before we had that frost, but then some of them didn't make it through the frost, so they were replanted about a week and a half ago, and here's where we're at with that. So there's blue Creamsbury tomato, and there's at least one seed is germinated. The Roma tomatoes in the back, there's one, and that looks like it's trying to germinate. I'm not gonna mess with it, but it looks like there's one right there. These Aunt Ruby's German green tomatoes, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds that have germinated in that container. Here we have Sunrise tomatoes, which we have 2. This is a homemade pickled cucumber plant. I have 2 of those in there. This is the Durrani summer squash. It hasn't germinated. I probably need to add some more water. Looks a little dry. So I have 2 containers of the homemade cucumber, pickling cucumber, and in each container there's 2. So I have 4 plants. My San Marzano tomatoes back here, there's 4 that have germinated. Sun green tomatoes, 4 that have germinated. This green grape tomato, 2 plants have germinated, 2 seeds. The black cherry tomato, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seedlings that have sprouted. Orange currant tomato, Kellogg's breakfast tomato, and both of these 2 seeds have germinated. So these ones that have multiple seeds that have germinated, I am going to keep them and I'm going to separate them because I will get into it more, but I have a project where I was assigned, I don't know which, it's not my personal land, but I've been given some land on Robins Air Force Base here in Georgia that I can kind of make a vegetable garden there on the base. And my target audience is for young airmen, dependent wives that, you know, their spouses may be gone, or even if their spouses aren't gone and they just want to learn gardening. My purpose is to use that garden to plant stuff and have them come over, have them maybe like a little community garden on the base. So I say all that to say I'm really grateful for that opportunity, but the extra plants that I have here, instead of just throwing them away, which I would have done, I'm now going to save them because I have the plot and the space to put them in there for the airmen on base. So that's what I'm going to do with these extra plants. So these were also some tomatoes that got messed up with that frost, and then I ended up losing the tag. So it's a mystery tomato and only one is still in here. It looks pretty bad. I don't think it's still green, but I just don't know if it's going to do anything. And then here's a black strawberry tomato that I don't think it's going to do anything either. Salt and pepper OG cucumber that has one that has came through. Crimson sweet watermelon, 2 Kajari melon, Armenian yard-long cucumbers. I have 2 plants of those, and this straight-A cucumber has not sprouted. On this lower level, we have, so the Cal Sweet watermelon has not sprouted. I have 3 seeds that germinated for Sugar Baby watermelon, and this is actually an old seed. This is probably from a packet of seeds that I bought back in like maybe 2017, 2018, so it still grew. These are Lemon Sun squash, Casper eggplant. Yep, right there. So we have germination of eggplant. This is a Minnesota midget cantaloupe, which has not sprouted yet. Yellow crimson watermelon, so that's gonna have a yellow flesh on the inside. Savor melon is a type of melon. It kind of looks like cantaloupe, I think. I've never tasted it, but I wanted to try it. Honey rock cantaloupe, which has not sprouted. Cue ball zucchini. I have 3 plants of these, and they're looking so healthy. So see, these are the ones that I'm like getting excited to plant out, which I don't know. These are squash, and they're looking pretty good. I might, I don't know. Tigger melon. This is, it's like green, kind of striped on the outside. I think it's orange on the inside. I've never eaten it before, but it looked good. This is a golden summer squash zucchini. It has not germinated yet. Magda squash. I cannot remember what this is supposed to look like, but I have 3 healthy plants. Back in the back is supposed to be a Rosa Bianca eggplant, but I don't think there's any seeds that have germinated yet. And then we have an Italian striped zucchini, which I have 2 plants, and then a Floridor squash, which I have 1, 2, 3. Honesty money plant. They have actually started to germinate. I just wanted to grow this as a cut flower, plus it's a money plant, so if I can plant something that's going to help bring money to my life, then I'm all for it. I'm growing tomatillos for the first time this year, and it looks like every single seed that I planted germinated, so I will probably just keep 4 of these at home. So keep 1 cup of these here in my garden, and then take these on base at least to start the garden on base. Back in the back, I think that is a honeysuckle plant. Yeah, it's a honeysuckle plant. My basil, some of it did get messed up in that freeze, so I need to just clean this up so that the plant can focus on putting out new leaves. But that I'm gonna put that out soon. Black Beauty zucchini. This is not sprouted yet. This is a bait alpha cucumber. I don't know how to say that, but BEIT. I've never had it before. It was a free seed with Baker's Creek that I got. Back here is a picklebush cucumber, and there's 1, 2, 3 plants of those. And this is a Cool Customer OG cucumber, and I have 2, but these are looking, these need a water. I have to water those. So all of these are fairly newly planted seeds within the last week. I planted some black poppies here, and let me see if I can get them on camera. So right here are the little seeds that I've germinated. There's some seashell mixed cosmos, and I thought I saw some germination here, but maybe not. There's some rudbeckia that has not germinated yet. Some columbine that has not germinated yet, and then we have some sweet alyssum that has germinated. Coming straight over here, I have some mullein, so they have sprouted. Some Persian carpet zinnias, and they have sprouted, and then some Fiesta blend nasturtiums, which have not started germinating yet. These, I will water them, but they have not germinated yet either. And I think actually I just planted these this week, so it hasn't even been a full week for these top row, well, the tomatoes, but were planted with those. But the rest of this stuff was just planted this week. So these are cucamelons. These are Chinese moneywort. These are blue gold berries tomatoes, so these are newly planted. Black pearl peppers, which are an ornamental pepper. This is eucalyptus. This is a German pink tomato. This was planted before. This Isis candy cherry tomato was planted before. These are Jimmy Nardellos that have not sprouted yet. And then down here we have another Durrani squash, Munstead lavender, spike lavender, English lavender, Vera lavender, swamp pink milkweed, swamp white milkweed, butterfly weed, baby's breath, Japanese white dandelion, marjoram, Mexican tarragon, burdock root, and a sun gold tall sunflower. So these have all been planted. They need to be watered, but they have not started germinating. In this greenhouse, you will also see some of these little plants that did have some damage and struggled through that frost. But this is a milkweed plant that survived. Before I replanted those milkweeds over there, this is the only one that survived. These are sun green tomatoes. This is really dry soil, so I really need to water these. This is a Sart Rollois tomato. These are Paul Robeson tomatoes. This is a pineapple tomato back here. This is fountain grass, which is a perennial. This is Pacific mixed status, and this is Utrick blue wheat. I don't know if I said that right, but there's that. Yellow coneflower, white swan echinacea, straw flowers, white sage, larkspurs, bachelor buttons, none of which have germinated yet. These are healthier looking tomatoes that survived the frost, and they're looking really good. And these are ones that I know they'll do better if I leave them in here, but they're looking really good and I want to plant them out so bad. This is 1, 2, 3 Dr. Wyche's tomatoes, and then 3 pineapple plants, which I have a total of 4 pineapple tomato plants. Down here, this is a cut flower mix, which we do have germination. Lots of little, and that's even more that have come up just this morning because I was out here earlier and didn't see it. Bachelor's buttons, I didn't even see that this morning, but it looks like it's trying to germinate. Chocolate cherry sunflowers, which have started to germinate. Blue tansy, lemon queen sunflower, and then purple and red straw flower. So some of these have germinated, some have not. Some of these peppers, I think I just planted them way too early. They're starting to take off now that it's warming up, but these have been here since before the frost. So this is a Mellow Star sweet pepper right here. These 2 are mystery peppers. Flavor Burst OG peppers, and these 3, and this is a mystery pepper because I do not have the tag. These were shishito peppers but have since didn't make it, and there's just 1, so I'm going to plant some more of those. And then those are Lilo OG F1 peppers, but it looks like something ate the tops off, so I don't even know if those are going to amount to anything. Starts to some more starts that we have. So this is mystery tomato again, but I have 2 of those. This is a green zebra tomato. It has not, I did replant some seeds in here the other day, so I'm just waiting for those to come up. This is a mystery tomato. This is a mystery tomato. We have 1, 2, 3 violet jasper tomatoes. These were kind of stunted during that freeze, but they are starting to put on some growth. This Abe Lincoln tomato, I think I just need to reseed those because that hasn't come up at all. Here's a green German tomato, Boxcar Willie tomato, Rio Grande tomato, Sun Gold tomato. So there's 1, 2, 3 in here. Black strawberry tomato, which there's 2. Bumblebee Sunrise tomatoes. Here's 1, it's knocked over. I really need to water these to make sure they're good. Oh, here's 2 more pink German pink tomatoes, and then here's 2 more Sun Gold tomatoes, so there's 5 total. And then this Corbachi pepper, so they were growing, but again, something has eaten the tops off, so I'm gonna have to replant those. And then we also have eucalyptus. So this bed was my daughter's bed last year. She was 6 when she started this bed last year, and at the time I really just gave her like some seeds, some mixed flower seeds, and I know we planted a bunch of evening primrose here, threw it down. It didn't do much throughout the last summer. As you can see, some dandelions have grown in here as weeds, but I'm actually just going to leave those and let them grow so that I can harvest those since they're in the bed anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those. But this whole bed has filled with primrose, and I actually need to come weed on that, like on the outside of the bed. But all of this is primrose, so I'm just leaving it, and I can't wait to see what the flower looks like because I've never grown it before. I just planted these potatoes maybe a week or two ago. They were little seed potatoes that I bought in the store. They were a red potato and then a yellow potato, and they are starting to sprout. So I will probably let these grow for the next week or so, and then I'll come and top them with soil. And these ones are taking a little bit longer, and I think it's probably because this bag doesn't stay up the way that one does, but they are starting to grow. All right, so here we have this little tray of Florist Sunny Bouquet sunflowers. So I'm trying to grow a lot of sunflowers this year for bouquets, so I put that there. Down here we have a Merlot lettuce, and if you look really close, it has germinated. It just kind of blends in with the soil, but it is this little red lettuce. And then we have something called a garant or granat cabbage. I think it's a Chinese cabbage, but it has we have quite a few, so I'm probably gonna have to thin these out because I'm not sure how big they're gonna get, but those cabbages are there. Over here we have Chinese sweet basil, which has germinated. We have Siam Queen Thai basil, which has germinated. Oh, there's some more up there. And then Snow Princess calendula, which was not here this morning. This had not sprouted, so oh, happy birthday, both of these. They had not germinated, sprouted this morning, so that's cool. This is kind of a free bed, even though there is some stuff that I know I planted here. Nasturtium I did plant here, but it didn't make it, so a lot of this stuff right here is weed, so I'm gonna take that out. And then here is a volunteer sunflower, so I'm gonna let that grow, but this is a free bed that I'm probably just gonna put cut flowers in. So this makes me really sad. I've been waiting for this little buddy to get a little bit bigger, and I should have just gotten it when I knew better, when I knew, because now look what has happened. Something came and took a huge freaking bite out of it, and that's the only closest cabbage that I have that's closest to harvesting, because the rest of these bad boys, baby plant, you know, come over here and it's just a baby cabbage, all of these baby cabbages. So that sucks, but at least I have more. So at least for the next couple of months I'm gonna have to buy cabbage since that one's gone. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that because I don't want any pests to come. I came over here anyway to show you the cabbage. I'll go ahead. I'm really proud of this kale. Look at this kale tree. Look at these kale trees. So I am gonna clean up the bottom and get the under leaves where they're yellow, but other than those, look at how healthy. Look at how healthy. It looks like Sideshow Bob hair. I freaking love it. I freaking love it. And my aunts, two of my aunts and one of my cousins have come over here and have harvested from this, and the places where they harvested down here has all newly grown. Harvested from my aunt right here, and look, it's already growing back. Right here we have onions, and these are like 3 or 4 years old. These are green onions that I got from the store. One year I stuck them in the dirt and they just keep coming back, but if you can see, they are starting to flower at the top. So I think I'm just gonna let them flower for the pollinators, help for pest deterrent, and then I'll save those seeds. These look small, but they were really big the other day, but I had harvested. We had made some hamburgers, and so we needed lettuce, so I came and got this romaine lettuce. But this romaine lettuce, I bought these starts from the store maybe at the beginning of February. What are we in, March? Maybe it was like the end of February. Yeah, it was the end of February. And so they've been in for 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks, and they're looking pretty good. We've already harvested. Over here, so I did have more beets planted in here. I had this whole thing full of beets, but some of the seeds got moved, some of them didn't germinate, and so now you can kind of see, and some of them are still just now germinating. So I'm just gonna kind of leave this for the beets to see what comes up and what doesn't, but for right now we do have some beets that are coming up. So this is probably one of my favorite parts to kind of go through now, because this is new. So a couple videos ago, I was telling you guys that I have all this space over on this side of the yard that I didn't know what to do with. And as you can see, I figured out what to do with it. So we'll start here. This bed was just dirt before, but I added a cattle panel trellis. So I'm going to grow food up and over, but I also have the dirt in the middle where what I think I'm gonna do is have some string from the top down, and I'm going to plant tomatoes here so that they can grow up this and have this as you know, a sturdy trellis. But also I think I'm gonna put either green beans or some sort of trellising plant right here and right here so that those can grow up and over. And then continuing on to the cattle panel, I built this one. And as you can see, this butter crunch lettuce was a lettuce that we had out front in our front yard, but it was looking pretty bad up there, and I knew I had built this, and I figured I'll just stick it there for now, but I just left it. So that is looking really good. I had got some cilantro a couple of weeks ago, and so I threw that in there. And as you can see, it's pretty spacious. I haven't planted anything else. I think I did, like, on the corners of each bed, right on each side, plant some nasturtiums. So that is a nasturtium, and then on the inside you can see the nasturtiums finally popping up. And then as I walk under this plant, this trellis, there's some more cilantro. So far there's 1, 2, 3 cilantros. I planted some lupine. I've never grown lupine before, and it has germinated, and the leaves look really cool. Yeah, they look pretty cool, starting to grow. This is bee balm. So this was also in my front yard, and I decided that I wanted to bring it back here because it'll grow in the area that I had it in my front yard, but I feel like it's going to do a lot better back here. So I put it in there. I moved, so this green stalk and this green stalk were over there, but I moved them over here. And I don't know if I should have, but in some of these, I think all but 2, I did plant some shishito pepper seeds in here the other day. I'm probably gonna go ahead and start some more shishito pepper seeds too. But there's also calendula that has started. These have been in here, and these have been struggling for months, but they're finally taking off. I think I planted it too early. I think I planted them in like early February, end of January, and this is as far as it's gotten, but we had all kind of crazy cold weather. So they're growing, and some other stuff that I planted, like some nasturtiums, they haven't come up yet. I don't know if they are going to. The coleus in here, it was doing really good before that freeze, and then it looks like it's trying to come back, so I'm going to leave that there. But within the next few weeks, if stuff isn't popping up where I know I planted stuff, I'm going to replant stuff, other things in there. In this green stalk, we're doing pretty good for the most part. This is a salad bowl mix. These are blue lake bush beans, and we're getting some flowers. These got really damaged by the frost, but see, this is what a lot of the leaves look like after that frost, but they're growing back. So I'm gonna fertilize this and water it today. We have some Blue Monday sage here. We have some serious blue sage here. There's one little seed germinated. And then the same with these. In the places that I planted stuff in and it hasn't germinated yet, I'm going to give it like another week or 2, and then I'm just going to plant something else. We have some blue spice basil here. Dragon tongue bean. I am going to plant some more dragon tongue beans throughout the garden today. Pak choi, I've never grown pak choi before. The crazy weather caused it to go to flower, and after looking at what pak choi, like the size it can get, I realized that this is probably not the best place for it, so I'm just gonna leave that for the pollinators. Chamomile, and holy basil, and broadleaf sage. So these are flowers. I think they're impatiens, I can't remember. This is a mint plant that we had from last year. There was a lot of like sticks, so I cut those back, and now you can see that the mint is coming back. This is a blueberry bush. What type is this? This is a blue suede blueberry bush. Had more blueberries on it, but before the frost, but as you can see, they kind of died back. So no fears, because look, we've got more. Got another blueberry bush back here. For blueberry bushes, you know, you have to have 2 bushes of a different variety so that they can cross pollinate. So this one is a cutie pie. So Cutie Pie, Blue Suede, I think that was. And these ones, you can see the little buds. So we should have a lot of blueberries this year. This, what is this? Rudbeckia. So Rudbeckia right there is the first little germination that we have for that. This one and that middle one right there, those were tulips. So I'm just really letting the green on these tulips absorb as much energy as possible, and then I'll cut those back and use those two for something else. Cannot remember what these are. I think they were impatiens. This is delphinium. Never grown delphinium before, but that's what it's looking like. Okay, so we've gone through all of this side of the garden, kale bed, first trellis, this little area. I am going to put some more cardboard down and mulch all of this back here. One thing I did forget, because it doesn't look like much, but when it grows, trust me, it's going to be epic. So I dug up a like upside down U-shaped area right here, and my thought is to be able to walk in here and be surrounded by sunflowers on this side, sunflowers here, and sunflowers here. And if you can look, the sunflowers are starting. They're already starting. So my little sunflower room or space, it's starting. So I am so excited for this little U area. And speaking of sunflowers, hey tree. So this tree, I try to get it to come to me whenever I come outside and talk to it. But speaking of sunflowers, this is a volunteer looking pretty good. And then there's another volunteer right there, and I'm just gonna let them be. This is another lemongrass that I had, like I said, with the other one that's up in that bed. I am gonna leave that for a couple more weeks, see if it survives. If not, I'm gonna chop it down and start over. This is the start of a compost pile. I've been putting, there's eggshells, there's paper towel rolls, there's grass, sticks, all kind of stuff in there. So I just need to come turn that. All right, so we're gonna go to our third. So this is, I went over that one, second. So this is the third arch trellis, and it's pretty much the same structure as this first one. I don't have much planted yet. I do. You okay? Yeah. I don't know what she's doing. What do you see? A bee? Just don't get it wet and you'll be all right. All right, so speaking of bees, here's a bee balm right here, a cilantro. And then while I haven't planted any of like vegetables or fruit or anything, I have planted some flowers. I can't even remember if this might just be a weed. Come here if you're scared. This might just be a weed, but I did plant some hibiscus right here. And then this is a borage. I planted eucalyptus here too, seeds, so they haven't sprouted, but this is a borage because it definitely looks like that. And this is borage. So that must have rolled down there, but you know what? I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna keep it there. You good? All right. Don't bother the bees. So on this side of this trellis, we have nasturtiums. I have marshmallow. I've never grown marshmallow before, but it's growing right there. This will be a bush of nasturtiums. I do have more cilantro and bee balm. Oh, also I have jet black hollyhock, and instead of them being up there, you can clearly see that when I watered them, they slid right there, slid right there. I'm just gonna leave it. These two are lavender, so I do need to water them. And I started this final cattle panel, but I haven't finished it. So I just need to mulch around the bottom, and then I'll go ahead and start planting stuff because nothing is planted. As we walk down here, I do have this pallet that I am going to put some cardboard under, and then I'm going to fill, put dirt in the same way I did these two. And I don't know, I think I might do okra. I think I might use this for okra this year, or at least one side growing okra, and then something else that I can put that will grow tall, maybe some more corn or something, because right now I do have corn planted in
here.
each of these slits. So all of this will be corn. There's 2 red cabbages, and right here I was going to do corn, plant another section of corn, maybe in like a month, 2 or 3 weeks to a month. Let that get good and started, and then plant corn here. But since these are more square, I was going to put squash in the middle, and then 4 corn on each corner, so that the squash can grow in the middle, and then if need be, it can use the corn for a trellis to grow up. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. So I think these 2 may be corn, but so I don't know if I'm going to do this one corn as well, or just do this whole palette as okra, but I guess we'll see. This raised bed is an area in the garden that did get some damage from the frost, but it's really kind of corrected itself. These are all potatoes, and so when it got really cold, the leaves died back, but now they have grown in their green. So we'll let these grow, let them flower. Once all that's done and these begin to die back, like for real, then I will harvest the potatoes. Over here are 2 raspberry plants. So they were over on that arch trellis over there last year, but I am going to dig and put these in the ground, and then put a cattle panel to go that way as a trellis for those to grow up and across. These onions I got at a seed swap this year. Back in February I planted them, and yeah, and so they look pretty good. Some of them are starting to flower. I think that might just be because the crazy frost, I don't know, but I'm just gonna leave those there. This echinacea came back from last year, and it should be sending up those flower stalks here really shortly. So I don't know, it might be just time for me to just go ahead and harvest as much as I can from these, because I've been trying to fight these from going to flower and bolting, but it's happening. And I've already cut down the middle stalk like 2 times, and they still just keep bolting and flowering. So I think I'm just gonna harvest all the leaves. I might cut this down one more time, these middle ones, cut them down one more time, let them bush out, and then see where we are from there. So this area is free. I don't know what I'm gonna put here yet, but I do have some compost soil up front that I'm going to bring and put at the bottom of these trellises, and then grow something up and over. This is really kind of a volunteer from last year. There is a hollyhock in here, and then there is a volunteer blackberry, and the hollyhock is already growing up this, and then the blackberry already has flowers. So this is just gonna stay for that. Last year I had what is called an ecbeckia, which is a mix of a rudbeckia and an echinacea. It's supposed to be perennial, so I'm just leaving that stuff in there. I'm pretty sure this is weeds, and I think that's the actual echinacea, so I'm gonna leave that for sure and let that do its thing. Last year this was full of zinnias, and if you can see, they have volunteered to come back, so this will just be another zinnia bed. So I am going to take these T-posts out. Harper, I'm back. So I'm gonna take down this this cloth trellis, this cloth trellis. I don't know, whatever. I'm having a moment, but I'm gonna take this down and just let this whole bed be zinnias. And then again, like I said, there's 2 dandelions that have grown. I'm just gonna let them do the thing. Coming over here, this is where I was talking about if I need to move another blueberry plant, I can, because there's 2, actually, yeah, there's 2 in here. So there's 1 blueberry plant here, 1 here, and then 1 here. So in theory, two in this one. There's 1 here and 1 here. So in theory, what I was thinking is I can take this smaller one out and put it over in that other one, and then this will still have 2 different types of blueberry plants. And I don't know what these types are. I just know that they're different. And so they will be able to cross-pollinate. If you can look, volunteer strawberry, volunteer strawberry, volunteer strawberry, and I'm just gonna leave them. If you can see this disturbance right here, I did fork this up and tried to overturn the clay, And then I planted a whole bunch of radishes, which have begun to sprout. And then I did plant some beans that haven't sprouted yet, but my purpose was just to heavily plant this with radishes and beans and just let it grow and let the beans get this part, you know, full of nitrogen, and then the radishes can bulb up and kind of break this soil up. So we'll see how that goes. Right here we have our strawberry bed. So I am determined to get strawberries this year, lots of them, not just one or two. I'm talking about baskets of strawberries. So this started off as like 4 plants maybe, but it has started to spread, which I am very happy about. And it also looks like we have some volunteer plants from last year. Like, this looks like a tomato, to be honest, and I did have tomatoes back here, so I might just let some of those grow just to see what they are. But yeah, they have flowers, and if you look closely, some of these do have the beginnings of, there it is, berries. So here within the next week or so, that should be bigger and red. Again, for like the 3rd or 4th week, this spearmint is still here. It's growing. I need to find somewhere to put it. I have an empty space right here, but I do not want this to be mint, so I'm gonna save this for something else. But the rest of this is red onions, and they're looking, you know, they're looking. I don't know if they're looking bad or looking good. They're just looking. Oregano. So the Greek oregano is starting to finally take off. The Italian oregano has been taking off, been looking good. The muscadine grapes finally have put some green on, have attached to this trellis, and should grow all along this trellis. So this one, but I do have some compost that I am going to come and put all right here, and then put mulch around it. And in the spots where the grapes are not growing, I'll probably grow some things like right here, and probably on that end. So here's another arch trellis that we have available to use. I think I'm going to use it for either cucumbers or beans. Beans were here maybe for the last couple years, at least the last year, so I might not put beans here again. I don't know, we'll see. But I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 broccoli plants in this bed alone. I have some violas back there, but these are broccolis. This is a mint. I cannot remember what kind of mint it is. That is lemon balm. If you look right there, there is a nasturtium right there. And then romaine lettuce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 romaine lettuces. And then we have more broccoli. These 3 broccoli are the same variety as those 9. And then these 2 are a different type, which I think you can probably tell by the size, how it's growing. The leaves are a little bit different. And then it looks like we do have some volunteers. This bed had a bunch of sunflowers in it last year, so I anticipate that that's probably a sunflower, which we also have a volunteer sunflower growing right there. It's going to be pretty big. Over here, this container did have some tulips that have grown, blossomed, bloomed, put on a beautiful show. And just like the daffodils over there, I'm just letting the leaves suck up as much energy as they can. I'll come back and cut those back and leave the bulbs in there, and then I will use that to plant something else. Look at my sage. It smells amazing, and I wish that I could share the smell with you, but I'll just enjoy it for now. And then our dahlias, they struggled through that freeze, and I just knew we were in bad shape. But look at them coming back. And check out my yarrow. I want to come start harvesting because I want to use some of this yarrow and have them as dry flowers. I think I can use them as dry flowers, or I think I can use them for like tinctures and stuff. So I'm gonna start harvesting, but this is the first year that I've had these yarrow plants. This is probably the 3rd year. This is the first year that I've had flowers. Same with this plant over here, and this is like a host plant of ladybugs. At any given time, I find a ton of ladybugs right there. Here's one right here. I don't know if there's one right here. I don't know if there's aphids. It doesn't look like there's aphids in here, but you know, they see it better than I do. And so there's just ladybugs in this plant all the time. I just freaking love them. This bed is an herb bed. I'm not done planting it. I want to plant it really, really dense, but I have cilantro, 2 cilantro plants, an echinacea, parsley, rosemary, dill, This is a pineapple sage. Don't know if it's going to come back. This is a blue Sirius sage. This is more for flowers. This is not something that is edible, I don't think, but it smells amazing. And check out the flower. It's this big purple, oh, it's just a beautiful flower, and it smells amazing. Here we have some violas, and then there is some delphinium planted in this bed, and I'm also going to plant some other stuff in here. I just don't know what. And then kind of finishing up the main part of the garden, here's my blackberry plant, and it's just looking amazing. Don't mind the sticks and stuff in the back. I'm going to use those for something, for I think when I have more beds, either I'm going to put them at the bottom of the beds, or I'm going to burn all that and then put the ashes in the compost. But either way, it's getting used. It's just looking bad right there, but the blueberry plant, or the blackberry plant, looks amazing. I have planted some straw flower on right here, and then on the other side in the same spot. I need to come and weed in the middle and get all this up, but I am going to be using this extra dirt here to plant stuff in. I just don't know what, but there's flower buds everywhere. We should have a great year, a great harvest of fruit between raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, cucamelons. I promise you this fruit year is going to watermelons, cucamelons, what else am I playing? Cantaloupe, the amounts of other varieties of melons. We should have a great fruit year. But yeah, that's that. And then here is the other side of the yard. So we went back here, showed you there, and I showed you what was on that side, and then I showed you what was on the back side, and then I showed you we started over there. Part of the garden, this is Harper's Flower Garden. I did do a video, a TikTok video when we did initially plant it, but I'm going to try to do weekly videos to update this so that she can see in real time how fast her plants have grown. But just, we planted this not this past Friday, not 2 days ago, but the Friday before that, and she used this area for daisies, and if you can see, there's little germination, and then in the middle is sunflowers. So she has a bunch of sunflowers that's going to grow, and then on this side she planted zinnias, and would you look, and then the crazy thing is her bedroom is right here, so she's going to be able to wake up every morning and look out this window and see her flowers that she grew right here. I love that for her. I really do. All right, so I know I'm probably looking crazy, but the gnats and the mosquitoes out here are terrible and abusive, and every aggravating word you can use to describe them, they are. So I had to put this on, and I look crazy, but hey, I'm protected. But thank you. I know this was kind of a little bit of a longer video. Thank you for staying to the end. Like I said, we are in Middle Georgia, zone 8A, 8B, 8 something. I'm having a moment. I'm having like a serious brain fog right now. So 8A, 8B, I can't remember, but one of the 8s is where we garden. I have a lot this year. I've expanded my garden this year. So in previous years, I've only gardened on this side of the yard, and then that other side of the yard, I've never used this back part of the garden, or this back part of the yard. These trellises are all new. So I am beyond excited to see how much I can grow, how much I can harvest, how much I can bless others with, how much I can just do this year. So if you are interested, also before I forget, like I said in the beginning when I was talking about my seedlings, my extra seedlings, I will be doing more videos about my garden plot on base that I'm going to get together and use to teach the young airmen how to garden, their dependent wives, if they want to bring their kids. I'm just going to use that garden plot as a classroom and a place to build community, especially with young airmen. I am former military myself. I was in the Air Force for 11 years active duty, and I did 2 years National Guard before I got out, and now I'm a disabled veteran trying to give back to that community that I spent so long with. And if I can start with young airmen and getting them back to learning how to be self-sufficient, because this can help them as they move from base to base to base. They can always count on, you know, maybe doing a little container garden or having a garden in their backyard if I can just teach them some of the things that I know. So with all that being said, again, thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe, share, do all the fun things. If not, you don't want to, that's cool. Just watch the video And again, come along on this ride. Thanks. Bye.